Today I'm doing a video that I am surprised it has taken me this long to make. We're going to be talking about my first ever legendary hero that I pulled inside the entire game of Watcher of Realms. This is probably a little bit more how you know her though. So we're going to be talking about Nyx, right? Just a simple name for a simple hero, but she is incredibly potent. As you can see, people seem to like her pretty much everywhere in the game. Lowest rating being a 4.1 in a single target DPS arena is very, very strong. And as you can see as well, I pulled 2 additional copies of her. So I do have her A2. Now, this is an insane account, right? I have Praetus, Ingrid, all those sorts of heroes, but I am 100% free to play. So keep that in mind when we're talking about Nyx, when I'm showcasing you her build, all those sorts of good things. I don't whale on this game. I'm not a Kraken, so I can't really, speak to their habits and whatnot, but I'm going to walk you through her kit and how I would build her. That being said, real quick, I got a Discord link down in the description. Go ahead, hop in there if you want to talk more about Watcher of Realms. We also talk about Raid Shadow Legends all the time, 2 of my main games right now, and we're always growing, so it'd be welcome to have you. We have a basic attack, deals AoE damage equal to 120% attack. This is 100% attack on the base. Prioritizing airborne units. Now, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's, AoE damage equal to 120% attack. It's a bit odd, certainly, right, to one enemy. That's not how AoE works, but either way. We then have a blast after blast passive. When detonating multiple bombs, increases blast damage by 30% and the blast radius at the same time. Now, what's interesting about this is nowhere inside her kit does she have mention of bombs. So we have a spinning blade passive. The dagger will return to the caster's hand, dealing AoE damage equal to 70% of attack to enemies on the path. So this is essentially when she throws her dagger, it's then going to return to her, deal some damage on the way back as well, which is good, as you can see there from like the little skill showcase that it shows. So that being said, her ultimate 900 cost, 600 initial, 30 seconds it lasts. After attacking an enemy, deals AoE damage equal to 75% of attack 3 times for 30 seconds. So essentially, this still uses her basic attack, but then after she does a basic attack, her blade is just going to kind of stay in position, spin around 3 times, doing that 75% damage, and then come back to her as well, right? Which is where you get that extra damage from the spinning blade passive. She has no talent. That's her entire kit, right? It's very simple, straight to the point. Like I said, there's no mention of bombs. Let's go ahead and take a look at her awakening. So awaken 1, spinning fireblade duration plus 5 seconds. A2 is attack plus 300. A3 is where she gets very strong though, so increases rage by 50% when killing the enemy. 50, not 50%, that would be ridiculous. Increases rage by 50 when killing the enemy. This seems basic considering that it's only 50, but this is absolutely insane, and this is what can turn her from a pretty good hero into an absolute god tier hero, especially for the anti-air arena, because when she's ulting, she's going to be getting a lot of kills if you have her built well, right? So restoring rage by that amount while she's in her ult can help to make sure that your next ultimate is nice and quick. A4, rage regen attack plus 2, and A5, each basic attack launched has a 50% chance to inflict AoE damage again, which is pretty crazy, right? So it's basically just a 50% chance to double the damage of her basic attack, which is pretty crazy. And again, still no mention of bombs. So how do we have her built? Well, this is the total stats here. So we have 16,000, almost 16,500 attack. We have 456 on the speed, which gives her an interval of 1.8 seconds. 106 and then 336 on the crit rate and crit damage respectively. 21% rage regen. Don't really have a whole lot focused on that. It is what it is. 20k on the HP, just to give her a little bit of survivability there as well. In terms of the gear, this is the build. So on the left hand side, we have Wicked Vengeance. On the right-hand side, we're going to have Infernal Roar, right? So kind of just what you'd expect to see. Almost everything she does. So like I mentioned, even her ultimate is still using her basic attack. So pretty much the best set, in my opinion, for her is going to be the Infernal Roar. In terms of the gear pieces, this is what we have her built with. So some crit damage mains here. Otherwise, we'd have a lot more attack on her, obviously. As well as just some absolutely insane pieces on the left side as well. If we had more attack bonus here, that'd be pretty cool. In terms of gear sets that you want to build her with, I always do this in my guides where I kind of walk you guys through what you should be building her with, really regardless of where you are in the game. What you're going to be looking for is Wicked Vengeance, Warlord, Calamity, or Whirlwind essentially are going to be your best options, and then you could potentially throw in Annihilating Might if you need to as well to get that extra crit damage, right? But I do just think that the set bonuses from these other options is going to be a little bit stronger. Specifically, Whirlwind, Wicked Vengeance, and Warlord are going to be pretty much the best ways to build any sort of DPS unit inside this game, right? So that's really what you're looking for there. On the right-hand side, you're looking for Infernal Roar. Like I said, that's top tier. You could also throw her inside Cataclysm, though. You could also throw her inside Soulbound Arcana, Ageless Wrath. For your tier 1 sets, you're really just, you know, not too worried about a set bonus. You're more so just worried about good stats, right? I'd really only start to focus on set bonuses once you get to tier 2 and tier 3 gear sets, because the actual bonuses from the tier 1 and then the untiered gear sets are just, you know, not really that crazy, right? So always stats over sets until the late game. Now, in terms of how you want to build her, I would personally recommend 2 attack bonus main stats on the right side and 1 crit damage stat bonus on the right hand side, right? So kind of in whatever order you want to put it. For me, on my account, I always struggle to find good amulets from Infernal Roar. Like, it's such a weak point on my account. I have almost none, which is just absolutely insane. So she does have an amulet on her, which is essentially just a crit damage, right? So you could also build her with triple attack, especially if you're using her in later game content, like certainly the later arenas. You want high attack there. If you're using her inside Gear Raid 3, she's going to be very good, built with a lot of attack there as well. Now, to showcase her, let's go ahead and let's take a look at the arenas. So as you can see, I do consistently use her inside my anti-air arena team. We're going to go here into the defense mode and basically just do a showcase on her. I'm also now just realizing that I completely forgot to showcase her artifact, so we'll do that here in a few moments. We're going to place down Diao Chan. We're obviously, so the one thing with her, she's quite expensive. She's a 22 cost unit. It takes a while for her to be ready to place, right? So obviously in the actual arena fights, I'm placing down Yuri before I place her down. I'm placing down Theowen before I place her. It takes her a while to be ready to deploy, but once she is, she can do some crazy things. So we're going to go ahead and put her down here, and you'll see just how quick she clears those units, right? So obviously that was still only stage 1, you know, it's nothing too crazy, wave 1, but she still cleared it incredibly quick. You can see now that she has her ultimate ready. We're essentially just going to wait for, you know, a couple of waves to pass before we ult with her, just so you can really see what kind of damage she's capable of doing. And with the Eovar lead, she gets extended range as well, which means that she's very strong because she can take out this entire area up here when you're using her placed here. So inside the anti-air arena, I'll show you with another unit. So I placed her right here specifically is what she does. And then with that, she can essentially target like this entire area here. So as soon as they spawn, she's able to start getting damage on them, which is pretty crazy. And then I do actually place Eovar up here for some extra damage as well. So, and then Theowen actually goes right in this position here. So basically, as soon as anybody gets into this spot right here, it's a nice little kill box, right? And you can see, just based off of her damage when she was reaching up here, she already had them at half health. And look how quickly we clear that up, right? Look how quick that damage was. This is like, you know, not quite Ingrid levels of wave clear, but it's not damn far off, people, with how incredibly good she is for this role. So let's go ahead and back out. We'll go back to her build real quick, and I'll showcase her artifact for you so you can get an idea on that as well. And we'll talk about some potential other artifact options, right? So let's go back into heroes. Let's go here, artifact. I have her built in a maxed out sharpshooter crest. So when there's no adjacent enemies, AoE damage is increased by 30%. So when there's nobody right next to her, she gets a 30% damage increase, which is just insane considering her range. She has a very good range as far as marksmen go, especially once you get like a marksman faction leader with her. She can extend that out even further. If you're not using sharpshooter crest, then something like a Ichor Chalice is very solid. Something like a, you know, Spirit Siphon could work, but she's more of an AoE damage dealer, so I don't really think it's a good way to go. You know, Bloodbond Signet if you're really struggling. Obviously, Bright Color's Claw, sorry, is not the way to go because she does not do single target damage, right? And something like Reaper's Emblem would be, pretty solid for her as well. When it comes down to Legendary, you could put her inside like an Idril's Gaze just to have that chance to ignore defense. Something like Pin of Precision will be very strong too because it's very rare that your marksman units are going to be receiving damage, depending on the stage that you're fighting in, obviously. That being said, let's go ahead and walk into Gear Raid 3 and just showcase what she is capable of here as well. So she can do what Maw does essentially on the left-hand side, where you would generally place him down to deal with the enemies there, but in this case at least we're going to place her instead so that she can deal with the enemies. Now we do have Power of Dominance on, which is definitely going to make her look a little bit crazier than she actually is, because obviously it's a lot easier to mop up in here when you have 30% extra on every single stat. But I always like to showcase the heroes like this just so we can get through it a little bit quicker, because at the end of the day, I'm doing a hero showcase. I'm not sitting here showing you how to beat Gear Raid 3, right? So just a consideration. We're going to go ahead and we are going to pop the Sylas ult as soon as the boss comes in, and that should pretty much finish off the boss without too much question. We are going to go ahead and place in Nyx now, and then as soon as we can, we're going to place Laurel as well, just to make sure that Nyx doesn't get targeted if there's any enemies spawning in. But we take out the boss, right? Now you'll see we start to have these enemies coming out on the left-hand side. Again, Power of Dominance is on, but look at how much damage she's able to do, right? And if we expand her range here, she reaches all of them without an issue, right? So she can do that Maw job. She can do exactly what he does without a question, without an issue, right? She's incredibly strong for that. And they're already dead. Simple as that, right? So we're going to go ahead, use Hatsuit here on the right-hand side to take them out. Do that. We're going to recall Laurel. I actually forgot to do that, but we want to have Idril's ult ready for when they come out on the right-hand side, and then she can just mop them up, essentially. So boom, boom, boom. And then after this, we're going to have some more enemies coming out on the left-hand side. You can actually go ahead and recall Sylas here as well. We don't have any spawning in the middle, so no need to worry about that. We have the guy coming out on the right-hand side here again, so we'll take care of that. Now, we'll actually go ahead and pop the Nyx ultimate, so you can really just see she throws out the dagger, it spins in place, does a bunch of damage, then comes back to her, and she takes out the enemies with like 2 dagger throws. That is how insanely, ridiculously overpowered Nyx is. She is such a good hero inside the game, and when I first got her, I didn't realize just how strong she was, right? So I was a bit of a noob, obviously, when I first started, go figure, right? But it's really become apparent, especially as the game goes on, just how good she is for so many areas of content. I'll go into the arena rankings here right away and just kind of show you what's going on there as well. But when it comes to, and that was actually one of my faster, auto fights there as well, which is pretty cool. When it comes to anti-air arenas, she's still one of the most used heroes inside the game, right? So if we go here, if we go to anti-air DPS, if we look at Apex Overlord, she's 9, right? She was one of the first legendaries that were released with the game, right? So she was very, very early on, and for her to still be this relevant just speaks to how good she is, right? Like, you have Diao Chan, Lady Alexandria, Ymeret, Hatsuit, and Yuri, and ridiculous heroes like this ranking up here with Nyx, right? Inside Overlord, you still have her. She's 10th. Inside Platinum, you still have her. She's 13th. Gold, she's still here at 9th, right? Silver, 9th. Bronze, she's somewhere. When we get down to bronze, people are kind of just doing whatever. She's still here. So every single anti-air arena, she's present in it, right? So she is so incredibly good. If you have her, definitely make sure you're building her out. I wouldn't use soul stones on her or anything like that, but if you get extra copies of her, definitely feel free to go for those awakenings as well, right? She won't let you down. That being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.